Mailbag. We decided last week that was the mailbag song.
Yes.
That's the normal intro. Yes. Hello, welcome everybody. This is the Zelda Mailbag, where it's exactly what it sounds like. We answer your Zelda mailbag questions. Otherwise, also, it doesn't have to actually be Zelda related. Of course, if sometimes we have too many, so if you we can't always promise we'll get through all the questions. So you can always, Jesse mentioned it earlier, you can always check out those beautiful Patreon things. Now I'm doing such a bad job.
No, I'm not. I wasn't laughing at you. I had Thanksgiving on my mind.
Oh no.
And then I looked at my microphone like it was like a giant cob of corn just being held in front of my face.
Just
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Don't eat your microphone.
It's not nutritious.
Oh no.
It has plenty of iron.
It's got yeah, that's your iron intake for the day.
I was gonna say it's got minerals, but
Speaking of your microphone,
but hey,
is that the new one, Jesse?
I mentioned Patreon's a good way to guarantee your question.
Sort of,
and speaking of Patreon, we do have a Patreon question from Gordla, who is in the chat as well. But yes, what do you think happened to Zelda's power at the end of Breath of the Wild, and how do you think that will affect the sequel? So at the end of the game, for reference, for people who are like, what the heck is he talking about? She mentions at the very end of Breath of the Wild that she feels like her power is kind of faded, or that she doesn't feel it anymore, and she's okay with that because she did just use it for 100 years straight, so without a break. So I think it would be cool if they're thinking of making Zelda a player character, that they did take her power away, that she has to sort of just use, instead of some inherited sacred power, she's got to use her brains and her scholarliness to think of other solutions to these problems. I think it would be cool for her to kind of just be powerless in that sense, and because she already used it all up, as it were, and have to think of other things. Or maybe she gets really good with this Sheikah technology and she starts building little Sheikah weapons that she would use instead, or something like that. I don't know, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That's
or
my thought.
In the same way as if Link goes around to different dungeons to get different weapons, if Zelda had to go around to different shrines or whatever, to how she went to all of the shrines to pray to get her power originally, or for help to get her power. If she did something similar, and each time you went to a new one, if you had to beat a dungeon to get a new power or whatever for Zelda, Link would get the dungeon item in the middle of the dungeon, like traditional dungeons, after beating a mini boss, but then Zelda would unlock her power after completing the actual dungeon. Like if in Skyward Sword, how after every main dungeon, or almost every main dungeon, 3 or 4 of them, whatever, there was the spring that was located after the boss room. So if the same happened in Breath of the Wild 2, to where you go through the dungeon, beat the mini boss, Link gets the dungeon item, then you go through the rest of it, beat the main boss, and after that is another spring where Zelda can pray to unlock one of her powers, whether it's freezing an enemy in place, when she shines light on them, or I don't know, just whatever they are. I'll be quiet.
I love you, Jesse.
No, it's someone else's turn.
Okay. But who's next?
I honestly don't have an answer for this question, so.
Okay. All right. What happened to Zelda's power? Well, Daniel, as Daniel said, it's been used. It's been used all up.
Right.
It's been used all up. I think she's gonna be like just recharging for the rest of Breath of the Wild 2, and then she's gonna come back and smack Ganon in the face right at the end, you know. But they'll probably end up using her. Hopefully, if she is a playable character, I think they're gonna, you know, slap her with some Sheikah technology as well. They might even give her the slate back after Link gets his hand messed with or whatever.
Well, it's because he gives it back to her at the end of the first game, so
yeah,
it makes sense. She has it again for some reason. I wouldn't give it back. I was like, no, I've been using this for 700 hours. This is mine now.
700 hours.
All the, you know, all those shrines that you can
I haven't played that much Breath of the Wild.
Sometimes I wonder by the time I actually go to Ganon, if you actually could record in-game time, it would be like, well, it's technically been 102 years by how many nights you skipped by the fire.
Yeah, apparently, I think someone told me once, I don't remember who it was, someone told me once that they actually like counted how many in-game days passed, and then by the they got to in-game had passed, or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, maybe I procrastinate too much.
What were you doing? Catching fish.
I was catching fish. The same Lionel 20 times. It's fine.
I needed to get a new mask from Kilton, and I needed Lionel guts to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
Farming Guardian parts.
Exactly.
And the giant ancient course.
Oh no. Like, what were you doing for all those hours? Getting Korok poops.
You know.
Just big bang.
Okay, I have a second question here from Aaron, who says, what if they had the monster Zoras and the regular Zoras? For those who don't know, in like A Link to the Past and the first Zelda, like the first times you come across Zoras in the Zelda series, they were enemies. And then in Ocarina of Time, they were helpful. They kind of were in A Link to the Past. They would like upgrade your weapons and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they would still attack you. So, like there's the river Zoras, I think they're called, and then the saltwater Zoras that are the good ones. And I think the Lizalfos, I think the Lizalfos take the place of like the bad Zoras, but it would still be cool if there was a mix of them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I like Zoras too much to fight them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always get sad fighting them in older games.
It'd be pretty cool. I think they even had a design for them like that, with like a green, and more primitive look than the ones that we ended up getting.
I think so.
Are you guys okay?
Yes, we're just not.
Alright, Ilya, do you have a question?
C. You'll have to let me know if this has been answered before. I thought this was cleared up last time, so I'm pretty sure I'm good.
Okay.
But Torn and Prince asked, so yeah, let me know if this has already been asked. What character or race do you want to see in a future Zelda game, and how would the story integrate that character or race? Doesn't necessarily have to be the Breath of the Wild sequel. I'm gonna go with the thing that someone mentioned earlier. If there was a way to bring the Minish back, that would be interesting. I don't know, not necessarily Breath of the Wild 2, but just in some way. I've never played Minish Cap, but from what I've watched of it, the music's great, the gameplay's great, and I would love to see that race return. And I think it's a really cute story as to why there are rupees in grass and pots. So I'd like to see them return somehow. I just thought that was such a cute backstory.
I too like this idea. And it's
Good.
it's easy to explain why you don't see them, because like just like the Koroks, no one's really supposed to see them, right?
Yeah. And it'd be a way to maybe bring Vati back.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause he was an interesting character. Because all the Minish are like super loyal to the Hylians, but then he's just like, nah, man. I hate you all.
Yep. He's a bad boy.
All right. Does someone else have another question picked out? Who hasn't picked one? Did you pick one, Rick?
Me. Where are these at? I'm in the.
The Google Doc.
Well, I don't have access to that. Where is that?
No!
I'm putting
Nobody
it in
sent
the
it
chat.
to me.
Uh-oh.
It is in the
It's
chat
in
now.
The chat.
Oh, thank
It's
you. Oh, maybe it was already
in-
there. Maybe I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Well, I put it there just
Probably
now. so.
scrolled up.
Oh. Lord knows how many times it's been posted in this specific Discord chat.
See.
True. Probably many times.
We ought to pin it. Can you pin in this one?
Can you
Yes,
pin?
I'm gonna pin it.
Pin it.
I clicked, oh yeah, pin it. That was my option. Oh yeah, pin it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Okay, I will pick Key's question. Let's see. Do you think the Oracle games have a chance of being remade in the same style as A Link's Awakening? Yes, I do. and please do so, Nintendo.
Yes.
The sooner the better.
How cool would it be to have two Zelda games come out at the same time again?
It would be bueno. And it makes sense too, because even one of the things Onuma said with Link's Awakening was that why he wanted to make it partly was because as time goes on, it's not as accessible a game for people. And I think you could say the same about the Oracle games, where it's like people in 3DS kind of phasing out. It's not as easy to get your hands on a copy of the Oracle games. And also, I haven't played. They're the only Zelda game I've played, so I would like to play them. So especially with a shiny, fresh. Yeah, that'd be cool.
What would be cool with those is if they just put them in one cartridge and just gave you
Yes.
both
Yeah.
games to play.
Yeah.
And it would definitely kill the argument of the whole freaking $60 value thing that we got with
Yeah.
Link's Awakening.
Yes. But it'd be cool if they put it on one cart, but then you boot it up, and then you have like a choice at the beginning of like,
Yeah.
like not like just a menu choice, but it would be cool if it has like an intro where Link like rides up to the castle or whatever. Because I think the intro of the game is he rides up to the castle or whatever, and the Triforce warps him out, right?
Something
But
like
then
that,
it
I think.
like gives like an in which two portals do you walk into or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
that's cool. I like that.
It'd be-
Good
it'd be
for
neat.
you.
I don't know.
You
Yay,
should
I did a thing.
give your brain a pat on its back.
Make
Just-
user interface more interesting. Thank you. That's yeah. So, but then you get almost to like a halfway point in the game and start over. Basically, like it's like starting a game over. Almost. So, I don't know, for like jumping from one game to the next. I was like, why do I have 3 hearts again? So, it'd be interesting if they could make it in a way that would, I don't know, accommodate that almost, like combining them real game somehow without. I don't know how they do it though. I'm not a game designer, so that idea was my one idea for game design, and I used it.
All right. Iliad, pick another question.
Oh.
It'll be the
okay.
second to the last, and then Rick can pick the last.
Okay. I'm gonna try and choose from
Choose wisely.
chat. Do. I know I saw a question. Where did it go?
They're sneaky. they'll run away if you
Just
don't
control F.
catch them.
They are sneaky.
Some of them we've answered, so I'm like, do I answer again? I don't know. If someone finds one before me, just go for it.
Yeah, when you answer like anywhere from 4 to 10 questions on 97 podcasts.
And I closed out the Google Doc, so I'm like, I'm too lazy to open it again.
All right, Rick, do you have another question?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take the second to the last one. What? Crisp Kratos asks, what was your biggest criticism of Breath of the Wild, and what do you want most for Breath of the Wild 2? The dungeons. I hated them. Want most for Breath of the Wild 2? Hashtag bring back the grappling hook. Or the hook shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Or both.
Or both, yeah.
I would
both,
say
both would work too.
underwater exploration.
So more meaningful, I guess, because a lot of the Breath of the Wild has a lot of side quests, but a lot of them you finish it and they're like, here's 100 rupees. I'm like, thanks, I have 80,000 rupees though. This is cool. I don't know. It would be nice to have side quests where you get a reward that's more meaningful. Like if it was a really cool weapon or piece of heart or something like that, right?
I feel like the series has been having that problem since A Link Between Worlds.
From shrines and spirit orbs, you know. Sorry?
I said I think the series has been having that issue since A Link Between Worlds, like trying to make things of value for the person to go and get, you know, like they put I think in one of the dungeons there's a chest where there's literally a guardian spring in it. It's like one of the most common things that you could find, and they place it right smack dab in a dungeon.
Yeah, and it's like that's not useful. I could get that anywhere. You could go into the ash swamp, just rummage through a bunch of guardian corpses or broken guardians and get 10 of them. But yeah, so something like that. I think we're side quest. I really like doing side quests in Zelda games. So, but it'd be nice if I finished one and it was more than just here's topaz. Good job. you know? So yeah, just something especially if it was side quests that would give you unique items, you know? Like I like when there's like a good example of this in Breath of the Wild. There's some shrines that give you unique items. Like you can only get the barbarian armies, the labyrinth shrines, right? So that's like a good example. Like that's what you consider a side quest with a good reward, with a unique item at the end. And it would be cool to see some more of that, I guess, with a kind sword that has like, I don't know, even if they're still breakable, it'd be still cool to collect them, right? So anyways, that's enough. I'm ranting now.
All right.
I'm just gonna stop now.
Question.